relationships, these are the people vari museko rako vari padhuze newe handitika, people who can give you emotional support handiti. So we are not talking about, for example, your sisters, your mom, right, your friends, your best friends, vanhu vari museko rako, people whom you can share navo zvinhu zviri personal, right. And then kana takutarisa isusu ma-networks takutarisa kuti okay, for example, as a lady who is into business or who is into something, shawinacho shaunozoti these things I value it because zvinopromota my net worth. It promotes the things which I know kuti zvinhu izvi zvine value or zvinogona kulead to growth yangu handiti. So it's also we are looking at kuti the sheepish is important handiti the most. So what I can say is kuti both my relationships and my networks, she says really important. But relationships, we need to value relationship to a great extent, largely, and it's more than my networks. Why? Because my relationships edu, vanvarumu ina medu, varimaseko edu as women, and it's don't much one of things like emotional support. Remember, you cannot grow in business, you cannot grow in whatever you think, and it's without emotional support. So you need that help, you need that love, you need someone to tell you, hey, come on. Hey lady, hey girl, you need to cheer up. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's this is not correct, but if you do it like this, 1, 2, 3, you see. So my networks are not but you know, at the end of the day, most of the times, women of nowadays, And it's Kujara, what used to happen was like this, with a number of men who are very employed. And it yes, number is such a inzana, such an 1:1, which wakazi never roommate tiri employed jakafana kumabasa. So we are finding it kuchukunya zona kuti yes, though a rumor or pamsoro wakawanda warkwenda kubasa and a number of women, right? They are still a number of women and it's very employed as still very shoma. And that's the thing which is happening. Saka, at the end of the day, Trukwana Guchi Susu, we need my relationships. And my relationships are important. They're just still supported in everything we do. We need to be helped in everything we do.
Absolutely. And you speak about something important as well, you know, things like your emotional support. You can't really progress you know, for you to achieve success when you don't have, you know, someone who you can lean on someone who can who you can disclose some of these things that you're going through. But also now moving on to something else that I think is equally important, the idea of being in different spaces, semkadzi, you know, my communities siana that can also help you grow and realize your potential. And there are so many communities that we can speak about. You know, my social communities, you know, where you go and refresh. You know, when it comes to business as well, you know, you need to be in those economic pockets, the political space as well. How much value can you get as a Semkadzi when you are part of my communities like Siana?
That's very important. That's a very good question, because you see things like this basing on personal experience and as a leader for this organization, Setting a Girl Foundation Empowerment Association, it's a community work, a charity work which I'm doing, and I find it very worth for every woman to join. So why? Because the thing number one, it helps your growth and in everything you do. Because you're going to link up nan wakawant iko kwandika. So not at the same time urkuzo grow foot pepe patachanga kutara no fambizana and itika. So urku grow kuzhinjinenge emotionally relationships akwe kutanga, at the same time you are growing to the other side there, your net worth. Right? Because you know, do you know what you have your own passion, your own way of thinking? If you link up with someone and have the same understanding and the same idea, to grow in whatever you are doing. So it's important.
It's funny because we were actually talking about it my last hour. The same focus. It makes it easy for you. But also on that same note, and hence we speak about making meaningful relationships and connections, because circles made who, instead of actually propelling us to the next stage, but because ishamwari yangu, you know, saka azvitoti ndikazodawo shamwari yangu ndikasiya shamwari yangu, but sometimes ndo vanhu who are hindering your progress, if I make sense. Like hausikwanisa kuenda mberi because you are being held back by the same people that you think ndo vangu. How important is it to also cut off vamwe vanhu? It's hard, it's really hard, but how important is it to cut off those people that are hindering your progress?
You know this thing is really true.
Yeah.
And this at times you hope growth yako, you want to promote your network, right? Do you know kuti pane gona kuva ne danger yekuti it's either you need to cut them or you don't need, because the moment you are growing in whatever you are doing, and it's either you need people stereki kana kuti you don't need them, especially vari muina seko rako zviri patu. Anditi asi kana iwe kuri kunzi you can nyatsosi kuti inini munhu yari kundidisturba kuti ndiende kumuvhiri kumberi, and then munhu ari padhuze newe kana ari museko rako zvekudaro zvekuti in everything you do you guys you share, and it's your friend, you do everything like the way I share my lifestyle with my best friend, and it means that person is there to understand me. Kwati even ndikaita some time kana kuti ndachinja from the way we used to do, and that person aripo kundinzwisisa ndokuti friend yangu, and but kazhinji chandoziya when it comes to growth you are forced you wacho ndonokotori problem.
I was about to say that.
Kutotadza kuva close.
Are you really that open as women to say tanakani time asingataure neni? Because what I've seen is that's where the problem starts. Why are you not talking to me? Kasi, you have a new circle now or whatever. And it's hard to explain to someone, I'm really busy, Maswan. I'm working on myself.
From personal experiences, from my experience, kuti ndine friend yangu, right? And then tanyatsowira nachitaura, we shared everything, you see. So chinjakazoita nje kuti dandiri pa pressure pape kuti like last year I was writing ndakaita my form 6 apa ndiri kunyora apa ndoda kumaisa zvinhu zvekuningiring organization kuti zvipinde muline, right? So patakaenda kuholiday chizodzoka holiday tada kunonyora ndakadzoka ndapa pressure kuti zvawese, handiti so during the holiday ndaitadza kuti ndikwanise kunyatsotaura naye,
right,
like the way we used to, and ndikuona so iye akatanga kuona like I'm drifting away, but at the end of the day I was like no, tomuda munhu friend yangu, she should be there, and but zvaitonge like ndiri kumupusha. So you see these things, you need someone anotozokunzwisisa at the end of the day.
Pamwe pacho aisi scenario futi rekuti if someone is not as equally as busy zvauri iwewe anotadzaunzwisisa kuti you know, because tojera ngoda hatungoswera tese tangochila hapana kambonyanya wanda sometimes, you know, people fail to understand that the way I'm living my life now is totally different, you know, without excluding you from the equation, but what I'm doing now, you know that more time, and and I feel there's a difference there, because as men we find ways of adjusting to that, but with women now, you should be there for me like that, and you know it becomes a problem. Not stepping on anyone's toes, but meaningful connections to most people mean hanging out. If you've noticed, meaningful
to a number of people,
to a number of people,
the time we spend takawada chese they kureva kuti winyaso
bond, you know. But how then do you explain, all right, Tombo, to your friend that listen, what I'm doing now needs more time. I'm not scratching you out, but I'm just prioritizing what I'm doing now, because obviously my success is your success at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But sometimes you need to explain it to someone, or do you even need to explain it if they are
I don't even need to. Kana uri friend yangu inini zvekuti tinonyatsowirirana, and yes my challenges anoitika like zvandakudza ndichiti from my experiences kuti wachinja like hausikundidayira ipapa pa WhatsApp atichaite hang out like we used to do, and anokwanisa kubvunza but hazvingazoite that a huge tension yekuti zvingaafecte relationship, because anenge ari wako chikunzwisisa, and then ukazoona relationship yatozosvika pakutokata kuti hamuchatotauri, then it means kuti you're letting you guys the way of thinking itori totally complete, and so that's why itori totally different, and so at the end of the day ndipo unozoona kuti kana kuti kazoisa kana kuti 3 weeks kumberi or 3 months mwene mwakutoita zvaakuita kuroti way of thinking yakagara isitorina mechi, you see.
Let's take it back to the first thing that we spoke about, tatanyema relationships and networks as well. Tikatarati, obviously from the relationship side it's more emotional, it's more it's more mental, everything.
Supportive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you get that from your relationships. And then when it comes to your networking, it's really just about being professional, about business.
Your
Your growth,
growth.
exactly. Thank
Your
you.
money.
You see. But
Yeah.
however, you might find that muma networks imomo munotobuda vangu vanhu vari like-minded like you as well, who then tend to be even friends. You know, you can grow your friends
You're
from
going to scratch those ones. Oh my God.
you're going to also then find, you know, friendships in networks, because now you perhaps you've got common values that you share, and you've got common experiences that you share as well.
Exactly.
So you tend to understand each other. But how important is it as well to find those people and then perhaps help each other in the journey of growing together? Can I honor someone? Would you then neglect someone because we're supposed to keep it professional? Cannot? If we understand each other, it could actually then turn into a meaningful relationship.
You don't have to neglect. You don't have to neglect. So you need, what you need to do is go to where no matter how busy you are, and no matter how tied up you are because of what you're doing, and no matter how your current relationship because of the background now. The first support you anditya pane vanhu vekutanga wakatanga navo, your friends, your relatives, vanhu vari muinner circle rako ndataura vanokupa emotional support, are always there for you. Pakaita kuti usvike ikoko, you can't forget them. Anditi kuroti no matter what, you should have time for them. You should make them feel kuti aiwaka vanhuwo, because ndovane kwakakubatsira for your growth from the start. Plus kuroti vanhu ivava kutoiswa kwani wakaita mulife mako naMwari, it means kuti progress yako kumberi, you still need them. So
but
no neglection.
Every other day tukuzvinzwana kuti kuda tanaka akuvhaira because akuita ane organization saka akutonasa
kuda kumberi experiencing it, saka don't say something like that, you know.
No, but it's relevant to every other woman, you know, every other woman who's trying to be successful, who's trying to
ndakaona ndichi chandokwanisa kudza skati ndichikuti zvinhu zvikaizvi unogona kuluza vamwe vanhu usingazviona.
Right.
Yeah. But per moment here kuti kana kuti wakuda someone, because munhu wese at the end of the day you need someone. Topono so much okay, pampana ningi he or she used to play this part.
Yeah.
And tukona.
Yeah.
Topo uchona, so we need people. We need those people vari mu inner circle and tukona. Inini ndinavamwane kuti ndakava loser. And tukona. Why? Because ndainyanyoita kuti zvinhu zvangu idini most of the time ndonga zviende kumberi zveku-organization. Ngazvifambe, I want to do things like this, want to kana ndiri paWhatsApp most of the times I was busy kana kuti zvangu zveku-organization zviri mutime zviri mumulen handiri kuwana zvinopromota growth yangu, saka ndotozoona kuti WhatsApp yangu dzimwe kana kuti after 5 days woningi akanitaudza pakati not kuti ndiri kumignore but ndindatozozviona kuti wozviya handiri kuona. Saka mumwe munhu zvoda kunzwisisa, mumwe mangu unofaut pangori kumignore but you are not ignoring. Because even the person you are dating, not going to come out especially if you are running your own company, your own organization, or your job, the way you do, you are busy and
I wonder how that turns out when you ukakangana reply munhu wako uri busy ne unongori kwabasa. Fair and fine, but also you then realize another dynamic that comes into play kuti because you are so focused on it, you then someone might take it as you're ignoring them. Exactly. But also it goes to how we were talking about someone understanding good busy. And whenever they are free, they're going to what? They're going to reply to me as well. It needs someone who understands.
Yeah.
Let's talk about someone who is in your inner kopangwa is actually your sister, but they are toxic towards your growth. How do you deal with such a situation, Yekuti? It's actually family. But mugrowth mangu, they are not helping me in any way in terms of my journey and my growth. How do you deal with such a situation? Because you unorambira this is my sister unomrambira apana. But also they are standing in your way in terms of how you grow. How do you deal with such a dynamic?
When it comes to family, because what example is sister.
Yeah.
And it's something, honestly, a situation which you need to also focus kuti ungaite sei.
Yeah.
And so what I can say is kuti iwewe like zvipe nguva. And wazvipa nguva wotarisa like the way yamaiita used to before one is zvako. And
okay.
And then that period ka small time kaunowana ikaka, and then make it up to him or her, your brother, your sister, and this trya kuona kuti zvamaita pamamoenza kudhara your growth isati yasvika pekuti as you are growing yapa pekuti pakupinza busy trya kuzvipinza pamoment yaunowana ishoma shoma such that uye haazopedzera toxic to what you are doing apedzera akuita zvinhu zvezvekuti iwewe zvinokuaffecta in your growth because vanogona kuzviita pakuti akufira kuti osaka ndo vatobhizi ava because vane zvinhu zvavo chisisina basa panapa watondira kunzi kana kuti mwana wamama mwana wadhedhi ndiye anoziva zvese panapa munhu yangonopedzera toxic. And it's not like it's sort of like develop a not jealous. Zviriko mafamilies. So I think in zvakadaro iwewe try
you need to find a way to manage
to a greater extent and my relationships edu do are important compared to kuzvinhu promote your net worth. And so always try to make sure kuti inner circle rako you try to make these people feel you.
Interesting. We have women who have sacrificed their lives to see other women grow. In other words, they've become bridges, to help other women. Saka tinonzwa vakadzi vanotora pamwe atsvaka mwana kari kumusha okatora wakapinza chikoro.
Exactly.
And then you find when I takwatones then wotora mufuti womupinza wona
It's happening every
you
day.
See, so they're helping these women. But is it possible to get more of that? Because it seems as if can we not do it amongst ourselves, regardless of our net worth, and just say,
we can do it. We can do it because I believe that no one is too poor to give. And also kupa kana kusumzira someone. It's not something shingori under by issue kuti I've got a lot of money and financially stable ndakazvimira. But it's all about thinking. Hands knowledge is power. And kureva kuti isusu as women tikafoma kana ma groups and kana those social work groups and tine various ma communities atinawo aripo arikusumzira vana kumaramiro magariro arikusumzira our women because we believe that in most societies especially African societies women they are stereotyped, right? So they need to be helped. So I believe kuti tikagadzira those groups aningashita ma projects akasiyana siyana. For example, tine this group redu isusu kusetting a girl function empowerment association tine women for SGFE. So what they do is like this is kuti vane project yao yatirikuita isusu handiti ndeyekuti tichita zvekurima zviya and then kana taunganidza mari yedu yaungana tunoita ma charity works where we visit my old people's homes, we visit my female prisons, we go and donate, we help vana vada kubatsira kusumudzira kubhadhara ma school fees. So I believe kuti kana vanhu vabatana knowledge is power nezvishoma zvawinazvo tikaita same project yaisa musoro pamwe chete it means we're going to come up with something shiri meaningful. Then the society goes on. Yeah.
But probably beyond that, it seems as if when we sit down to speak about these things that women can do for each other, just saying women can do this for each other, why does it seem as if we can easily talk about it, but on the ground, it's a totally different story, It's a totally different story, and it hurts because. So
are you trying to say that we are enemies for each other? What are you saying?
I'm saying as women, you can do more, and there is the potential to do more is there, and
yes.
I see those who are willing to do more on the ground. Vashoma. Why is that? Saka, the perception might be women just can't find time for each other. You can't be your sister's keeper for one reason or the other, because maybe sometimes you're too busy building your own life, or maybe you've got other commitments that we've heard of women who have vafana vakasarakumba, but kana ungotora one ngokapinza chikoro, you are busy with your own life. It's always your children first, or chi. Why is it like that? Is there a way to change perspective, perhaps? Mumaitiro.
What I can say is Papo is kuti zvinhu zvakatongodaro just because of the way of thinking, the nature of the society yakagara yangoiswa munhukadzi wese. Handiti tofanira mbokudza about things like gender inequality. Handiti tikatarisa our society yedu mamiriro yakaita tambotsa ndekati women are stereotyped right? So it's because tine mamwe ma-cultural practices anditika tine those cultural practices ati now our biological makeup zvatiri isusu anditika we go through lactation period, gestation period, bhadharwa lobola, a lot of things which happen anditika zvinotipa the idea yekuti kuti titange something, for example kana kuti titaungana tinobhadhara naningi vada kubatsirwa ma-school fees, I think panofanira kunge paine a leader who is a male andikona saka zvinhu zvakagara the idea iri posted matiri inomanikidzwa kuti tizvitende ndo zvazviri saka ndo zvinotipa kuti titi yes pasocial media this is correct, yeah, that's the good thing to do, but kana papa ground tiwanika tina vanhu vashoma who are willing to do such kind of things, so it's because of the nature, the surroundings, our living, the situation, the way things are like.
Interesting. You just also reminded me of someone who I was talking to who also said the same or almost something similar in regards saying Zimenguva, you have to, it almost seems as if you are waiting for the instruction kuti nchanzwa kuti baba kana baba wadzoka zvinoita here kuti tinotora mwana kumusha and then tozo yeah. But that kind of thinking can it not be changed? Do you need to wait for someone as women, or you could just start doing the things that you need to do for each other? Because before we speak about inequalities and whatnot, there's that jealousy you spoke about, which is really just a natural thing. I just don't want to see the next person or the next woman progress.
Zvagara izvozvo in our society. Remember vanhu tima characters dzakasiyana.
Yeah.
Always pane munhu ane mafungiro ake nemaonerishi ake. Mumwe anotadza kujoina just because of my issues and ataura waya kuti biological makeup, cultural practices, what zvagara zviri matiri.
Yeah.
Kozoita mumwe kuti she can't join, she can't be part of zviri kuitwa nevamwe ma-projects. And why? Because of izvozvo zvinenge zvakadaro. You see?
Yeah.
Things like that.
How much does influence how much does influence work in terms of what you can do for the next woman? I like giving the example your family or your sister because you regard them so highly and you value influence. But how much influence do you get? For instance, Sanaka wants to help the next sister. Indukufunga kuti uyu anogona kupinda muorganization anditi.
Exactly.
Saka ndikufunga ndimubetsere. But then again, pamwe yose will say, we don't do things like that over here. You know. And at the end of the day, you are left conflicted. How do you deal with that? Because obviously, you've been influenced to change. But now you've been influenced to change that.
Ipapoka, what I can see is what pano depend on the mindset because I first see it. For example, my issue says sometimes we need to sponsor Lana, sometimes we need to sponsor the women of our society. Depending with our donors, with our sponsors. But my best friend, my sister, especially my sister, no example no aite wanakazodai akadai ndakazonzwa zvakati that's the nature yevanhu zvazvi handiti. But inini as far as pandasvika izvezvi nekunzisa kwandoita ma-issues e-social work, I don't take it at the end of the day zvanenge achitaura chandinozongotora chete ndechingoti munhu iye abatsirike here ndichingotarisa the main agenda yekuti why are we helping her handitika the reason why ari kufanira kuita sei kubatsirwa kuti dzimwe dzese idzi ndo dzatinoti pachishona nzenge dzanhongwa dzanyaya inini patakutarisa target yedu isusu handiti even musociety kuti chero mukazoti nhingu hanzi akazombodai akazodai vamwe vanotadzana kubatsira munhu handiti ari papapa nzvimbo yekuti ari kufanira kunge achibatsirwa because hanzi akazomboita murume wekutanga akaita wechitusi kagara neconfusion but pamwe isu toda kuti mubatsire paishe tikutoona kuti pavana vacho vainavo vakazvara ivava 8 vakawandisa ivava ari kutodai boss ari kutadza kuvaendesa kuchikoro takuregedza boss takuti agara nemaissues ukuti vanhu vari musekura kwanenge vachidaro so iwewe wapo vanjuzotadza kuti what is social work, what am I supposed to do? Takutarisa my main agenda. So that's
I like that as well because Zimengua, we are very good judges, you know.
Yeah.
We judge people on the experience, but we don't also want to perhaps understand that sometimes these are honest mistakes, you know. Ekuti, maybe you get into it, you are very young and you are, you are really stupid. The way you think is really stupid at that time, you know.
Exactly.
But Zimengua, now you are there to help each other get out of that and say, look, how can you rectify your mistake? But how can we help each other? But you spoke about Nyama stereotypes, and I want us to go back there as well, Kuti. Don't you also stereotype yourselves as women in terms of Nyama communities? Someone will tell you, Kuti, I can't be part of that community because I think go low class, so I can't, So if it's going to be a community building exercise that has women, I'd rather go to the community building exercise in town. In our cards, town, do for a sick town. Then you'll get to both. I shall get to. How does that affect now these meaningful connections that we're talking about?
It affects obviously so bad because what we are seeing is especially about community building. Community works, charity works, joining charity works, and it's build at the community where we are expecting to build it. And it's already they are doing town in the uptown, Borode. I can say when you have to halfway better. And so, honestly, we can say any issue of stereotyping each other. Join a charity work, join a community work. What am I supposed to do? How is it going to be beneficial? So, what I can say is, Bakawanda as women, and let's be there to join my community work in the ghetto. Join Ivava, and SGF Ivava, and a Shama de Mana scan of my society may do both domorgit my issues Akawanda. And also don't promote the growth of our community. So that's what I can say. Stereotypes are
Anzi panapa ndiri kunzwa nyaya yenyu dzimwe muri unokura uchiziva kuti ndakabatsirwa saka iwewe unofanira kubatsira. Vakomana vangu neni vakaendesa vakawanda kuzvikoro kusvikira kuuniversity. Ivowo vava kubatsira vadiki vanotoziva kuti ndizvo zvazviri. So you see now, in this case they created a chain of understanding kuti.
Exactly.
I was helped saka ndofana kubetsera uyu and then it becomes a cycle yekubetsera chidzika chidaro. And I think that's something that we need to cultivate in our women as well. Kuti
kana wakabatsirwa batsira mumwe. That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah. And also opening up to new experiences. I think it's important. I think those wrong charity. You want a new experience. Cannot you go to north ka? Mboenda ku south huko. South of some noti.
Exactly.
Power vanozvita sei.
Chakafane kuti susu ku organization kwedu in my organization. Takaita find out tikata sort vanhu vakawanda vari kuva taught about issues like rape, bully zviri kuitika kuvana anditika schools. Vanhu vari kuteachwa there in the uptown. Vanhu vakudza kuma group A schools those vatinoona pa social media. Anditi what about vana vai vari kudzidza muzvikoro zviri kunana Chihota zviri kuma rural areas and Seke district vashaiwanepi help iyo vari kuinzwepi. That's why tikuona kuti vana vakawanda vakutoripa mazuva tikada kutarisa vana vari munzvimbo dzedze kuti hadzisati dzave developed because isusu vakawanda social workers we want to go kunzvimbo dzakuzikanwa kunzvimbo dzedze kuti they need help. They need to hear those words kuti pange paine change hakusisina da kuenda ikoko. So in our organization those atini tiri busy kuita kuti tisvike ikoko kumamisha ikoko kunzvimbo idzodzo tisiri kusvikwa nevakawanda
kuti knowledge gap yacho yemva yavharika
because the idea iripo pa social work, the idea iripo pa kujoina community work is to bring a change as well as uri kubatsirwa pa growth yako because uri kunosangana nevamwe vanhu vanokusimudzira in your way of thinking vanenge vachishare the same light with the kind of light chiri mauri.
Absolutely. So another thing that strikes me as well is how things really take time kuti zviitika. I think ndambotaura nyaya progress kuti munhu azowana munhu mukana wekubetsera mumwe munhu. Sometimes toda kutanga taita magovernment tombogara pasi tomboronga nema-inner circle kuti saka tichaita sei but can you not be proactive on your own to just say what, this is my decision and I'm going to act on it, because dzimwe nguva iwewe you've got an idea and you think this is going to help the next sister, but just because wazoiendesa nyaya kudare ichambonogara dare pamwe yotonorambwa futi tonza toda kuita izvi. Can you not just be proactive wega? Because I want to believe I help one person, the next person helps one person, and that's how we can't help everyone at once. Exactly. It's just one person at a time.
You can do it. You can do something like that. Because zvakafane kuti pane ma issues ekuti let's say kana you want to start a project those are good around and then kuti munzi kana kuti muri kuungana muri kuita nezvei, you need for example mutomutanga maendesa tsamba kuna counselor, you need to go and register chicha experience zvinhu zvakadaro. But what I can say is kuti organization yedu isati yasvika payave iko zvino already tatatotanga kutoningirikina kutobatsira vanhu mucommunity, totoziva kubva kuti asati ane license kuti mafamilies edu 3 atobatsira, for example where I stay. Don't say kana ndofavor my society, but I believe kuti anti-charity begins at home. Kwaunobva maunogara ndo panotangira charity. So tisati